Right, hello, and we're back for week 3 of the Sada Halloween. I'm Julie, and this is my channel, Jules Craft Room. And this week we're going to do the sides along down the length of the faces and across the top. And also I think I will be doing the cat and the bat's wings and some of the faces that go on these squares. So finishing that off, and I'm going to break it into 2 parts so that I'll leave the cats and the faces and the joining together for the second part and just do the edges in this part. So let's turn you around and get started. Right, okay, so week 3. So we're starting off with the witches, warts and tights panel, and they're the side panels, so they're the ones that go down here. So you'll be doing both 2 alike, and I'm starting off with this one here. So check that you've got your squares put together in the right order. So I've got the pumpkin at the top, then the swirl with the black facing on the outside and the white facing this way, the eye, pumpkin and the face. Now I've, as pointed out by someone, I've realised that I've been using the zest when I should have been using the lime green, the lemongrass, but my lemongrass is quite a dark green, whereas I thought this looked more like this. So, and I thought this bit down here, which is supposedly the zest, and along here look more yellowy. So I've found a yellow that I like in my stash, if I can find it, this one here, and I'm going to use that. So I'm going to use these 2 because I think they look more like the pattern. I'm not going to bother using this one. So going forward, that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully I'll have enough of this because I've only got 1 ball and it says you need 2. So I might have to get another ball of this one. But yes, so we are going to start down here. So we're starting with the 4mm hook that we've been using throughout. And we need the clementine, the orange. And I'm starting with a slip knot. And you join it with the right side facing you, and we're doing this edge here, so it should be down here at this face. And you're joining into this corner, so you're joining there like that. I'm going to weave that in as I go, and you're doing a 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3, and then you're doing 19 trebles till you get to the next corner. So remembering the hidden stitch, which is that one there, you go in there, that'll be your first treble, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And when you get to here, you're doing 1 in this space here. That'll be 20 goes into there. And then you're doing 1 into this space here. Like that. And then remember that hidden stitch there. And that'll be your first one of the 19 across this square. And you'll continue like that all the way along. so when you get to here, you do one in here, one in there, and remember that hidden stitch just there, and then you do 19 along there, and you do that all the way to the end, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end, you're doing one last stitch in that chain space, and then you're fastening off. And then we are going to turn, so we're on the wrong side now, and we're going to join the black. So I like to join with a slip knot. So we're going to join and start round 2 or row 2. So wrong side, you should have 105 stitches, trebles on that first row. And now we're going to join and we're doing three chain. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do a treble all the way along here in each stitch. So you'll have 105 trebles. I'm going to weave this in as I go along. So that 3 chain counts as a stitch, so you go into the next stitch. You do that all the way along, and you will have 105 trebles at the end if you started with the 105. So treble all the way along, and I'll see you at the end of row 2. Right, so when you get to the end of row 2, you're doing a treble in the top of that treble, and then you're doing another treble into top of this 3 chain, because that counts as a stitch, so don't forget to do that. And that should give you your 105 stitch count. And then you're fastening off, and you're going to turn to the right side, and we're joining back the clementine. So with the right side facing, you're joining the clementine in that last stitch. It's very difficult to see. The black makes it really hard. And you're doing exactly the same. You're doing a 3 chain, and then you're doing a treble into every stitch all the way along till you get to the end. So another 105 trebles. And I'm weaving in as I'm going along these loose ends, so it's less to do at the end of the blanket. So I'm going to do the 105 trebles along here, and I'll see you at the end of row 3. Right, so at the end of row 3, we've got our last but one treble. This is going into the top of the treble from before, and then we do another one in the top of the 3 chain. And then we fasten off, and that should give us our 105 trebles. Right, so now we're doing row 4, and we fastened off the clementine, the orange, and now we're doing, you'll be using the lemongrass. I'm using the My Zest because it looks more like a grassy colour. And I've started doing that, so I'm going to carry on. And you go into the first stitch, and we're joining with a 3 chain. Be 1, 2, 3, and then you're doing, I'm going to try and weave these in, and you're doing a treble in the next 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2. And then it says to do a 5 treble bubble, and a 5 treble bubble is yarn over, through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you don't finish that treble, you do another one, and you do that for 5 times altogether. So that'll be 2, so you've got 3 loops on the hook. That'll be your 3rd one. Fourth one. 5th one. So you have 6 loops on the hook, you pull through 5, then you have 2, and then you pull through those 2, and that is your bubble stitch. And then you're doing 2 trebles, it's 1, 2, and then you're doing another bubble, so yarn over, so don't complete the treble, go back in again, 5 times altogether. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've got 6 loops on the hook, you pull through 5, you're left with 2, and then you pull through those 2, and then 2 more trebles. And you carry on doing that sequence of 2 trebles and a 5 treble bubble all the way along till you get to the end. And we're working on the wrong side of our work, and then the bubbles will be on that side, like that. Okay, I'll see you at the end of row 4. Right, at the end of row 4, you've just completed your bubble, and then you'll do a treble in that stitch, and then another one in that 3 chain. And then you're going to fasten off. And you should have 34 bubbles, and I've checked, and I have 34 bubbles. You're turning, so you've got the right side facing you. That's your bubbles there. And we're joining the zest. Now I'm using the yellow because I got my colours mixed up. So I'm using the zest as the lemongrass, and I'm using a yellow from my stash in replace of the zest. And I prefer the look of it because this looks more yellow. So we join, and this is the 5th row. So you're joining in the top here. And you do a 3 chain, and that counts as a treble, and then you do a treble into every stitch all the way to the end. So you will have 105 trebles. So a treble into every stitch. So So that one there, that one there, and you carry all the way along for 105 trebles, and I'll see you at the end of round 5. Right, at the end of row 5 we'll have done 105 trebles. Don't forget to do it in that last 3 chain stitch because that counts, and then we're fastening off, and we're going to join the green back up again. And we're turning, it says turn, and we're starting row 6. Row 6, we're joining the green on the wrong side of your work. We're joining in at the end there. And it says to do a 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. Then it says to do 1 treble into each of the next 2 stitches. So that'll be 1 there, and another treble in this stitch. And then it says to do a 5 treble bubble. So exactly what we did before we did the yellow. So that'll be yarn over, pull it through 2, then yarn over again, same stitch, pull it through 2, yarn over again, pull it through 2, again and again. So you do that 5 times. So then you've got 5 unfinished trebles. You pull through the 5 loops, you left 2 on there and pull through that one. And then you're doing a treble into the next 2 stitches, like that, and then you're doing another bubble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through 5, then pull through 2. And you continue doing 2 trebles and then a bubble, 2 trebles and bubble all the way along until you get to the end. And you should have 34 bubbles when you get to the end. So I'll see you at the end of row 6. When you get to the end of row 6, you should do your last bubble, which will be your 34th bubble, and then you do 2 trebles. So it'll be 1 in the top of this treble, and then 1 in the top of the 3 chain, which can be a bit fiddly there. And then we're fastening off and we're turning back to our right side. And you can see all the bobbles there. And then we're going to add the purple. So this is the 7th row. And we're joining into the first stitch, which is there, with the purple. And we're going to do 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3. And then you're doing a treble into every stitch all the way along, which should give you 105 trebles. So that will be that one there, because the 3 chain counts as a stitch. So you'll be going into that one, and then the next one, which is above your bubble, and carry on doing 105 trebles all the way along, exactly like you did in this row here, but in the purple. And I'll see you at the end of row 7. Right, so at the end of row 7, I've got 104 stitches, and I just need to do the last treble in that 3 chain. And then that will give me my 105 trebles. And then we're going to fasten off, and we're going to turn, onto our wrong side, and we're going to join the black like that. And we're going to do 3 chain, and then you're going to repeat the same as you did last row. You're going to do a treble into every treble all the way to the end. And then another one. And you'll do this all the way along, and that will be another 105 trebles. And I'll see you at the end of row 8. Right, so at the end of row 8, we've done our trebles. We fasten off the black. We turn back to the right side, and we do a row of trebles all the way along in purple again here. And then that is it finished. So I'll see you at the end of row 9 with our row of purples. Right, so on the Magic Cat panels, we're doing them separately. We're not, and we're adding them on afterwards. That's how they want you to do it. So I'm going to do cast on 86 chain. Right, so I've done the 86 chain in the yellow, and I think this is for you. For you, this is the zest, but I'm using a yellow out of my stash because I wanted it to look more yellowy, and I've used the zest as the lemongrass colour. So yes, so 86 chain, and then it's row 1, and you do a treble into the 4th chain. So that's your first chain, so 2, 3, and that's your 4th. So treble into there, like that. And that counts as a stitch. Then you do 1 treble into each of the next 2 chain. So that's 1. That's the next stitch. Then you miss 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3. And then you do 2 treble. All into the next stitch. You do 1 chain and another 2 treble, all in the same stitch. That should look like that. You've got the chain there after going into the fourth chain with your first treble, and then you did 2 more trebles, and then you've done 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles, all in that 1 stitch. And then this time you miss the next 4 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you go into the 5th one, and then you do your 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles into that stitch. So 2 trebles, 1 chain and 2 trebles. And you do that 14 times. Miss 4 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4. So going into the 5th one, and you're doing 2 trebles, 1, 2, 1 chain and 2 more trebles. And it will look like that. And you do that all the way along 14 times. And then we'll finish off at the end. So I'll see you at the end of the chain. Right, when you get to the end of row one, and you've done your 14 of these 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles into each of the 5th stitches along here. You then come to the end. So I've done 14 of these little shell things, and then you miss 4 chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then into the 5th one you do another of the 2 trebles, one chain, 2 more trebles, all in the same stitch. And then it says to miss 3 chain this time. So you miss 3 chain, and then you do 1 treble into the last 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3. So we're going into the 4th chain. So it'll be here. And we're doing a treble. And then again into the next one. We're doing a treble, and then into the 3rd one, and that should be all your stitches used up then. And then it says to turn and start row 2. So row 2 is 3 chain, that's 1, 2, 3. You're doing a treble into the next 2 treble. So that'll be 1, 2. Then you're going to miss 2 stitches, and into the chain space you are going to do 2 trebles, a 1 chain and another 2 trebles. Like that. So when you've done this shell into this shell below, it tells you to miss 2 stitches and then to repeat. Well, you're missing more than 2 stitches, you're missing 4 stitches, because you're going to have to go into this one, not here. So you're actually missing 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and then you're going into that chain space. So don't let that catch you out like it did me. Then you're doing your 2 trebles, then your 1 chain, and then your 2 trebles into that chain space, like that. And then you're missing 4 and going in there, not 2 as the pattern says. So 1 chain and 2. So you will continue that all the way along till you get to the last shell, and then I'll meet you there. So at the end of round 2, you've done all your shells in the previous shell, then you miss 2 stitches, and then these last 4 trebles you treble into. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then in the top of this 3 chain. 4. And then you're fastening off. You're going to turn, so you're on the right side of your work, and you're going to join the purple. So you're going to join the purple in your first stitch, and you're going to do 3 chain. That counts as your first stitch, and then you're going to do a treble into each of the next 3 trebles. I'm going to weave that in. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to work 1 extended 3 treble cluster into the space 2 rows below, and that is yarn over, insert the hook into 2 rows below. So I would have thought that's this one here. Then yarn over, pull through the space, draw into the current row. So bring it up to the same height as your other trebles, and you draw through 2, and then you repeat this twice. So yarn over, down there, pull through, up, pull through 2. So you've got 3 on the hook, and then again, there. So you now have 4 loops on the hook, and you yarn over and draw it through 3, and then through 2. Then you miss 2 stitches, and you do, so you miss 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then you do a shell into this 1 chain space. That's 1, 2, 1 chain, 2 trebles, 1, 2. Then you miss 2 stitches and you repeat the extended treble down here. So you're missing 2, and then you're repeating the extended treble cluster. So pull 1 up, go through, again 2 more times, and you've got 4 on the hook, pull through 3, pull through 2, and that is what's going to look like your cat. And you carry on like this to the last 3 stitches. You're missing 2, and you're doing your shell in there, so that's 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 more trebles, then you're missing 2 stitches, then you're doing your 3 treble cluster into the bottom here. So pull it up so that it's level with the other stitches, pull through once, then back down again, pull through, and again. And you've got 4 on the loop, pull through 3, pull through, and there you can get to see your sort of cat faces. So carry on doing that right to the end, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so that's what it should look like. When you get to the end of row 3 and you've done your shell, you then do another extended cluster down here. And then you do 3 trebles into the last 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, and the third one is on the top, into the top of that 3rd chain, 3. and then you turn and start the 4th row. Right, the 4th row is 3 chain and then a treble into the next 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2, then you miss 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and that brings you to your 1 chain space, and you do a shell into your 1 chain space. So that's 2 trebles, 1 chain and 2 more trebles. Like that. Then you miss 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That brings you to the next 1 chain space, and you again do your shell, and it will look like that. And you will do that all the way along, and then I'll see you at the end of row 4. To end of round 4, do your shell in that last 1 chain space, then you miss 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then you've got 4 left, and you do a treble into each of these 4. Right, and then you turn. You turn, we're still using the purple. You do 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. You do a treble into each of the next 3 stitches. So that is 1, 2, 3. Then you miss 2 stitches, and then you do a shell in the top of that 1 chain space. So that will be 1 treble, 2 treble, 1 chain, and 2 more trebles into that 1 chain space, and then you miss the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you repeat. You do another shell in there. So that'll be 1 treble, 2 treble, 1 chain, and 2 treble into that 1 chain space. And you carry on doing these shells in each of the shells below all the way along, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end of row 5, you miss 2 stitches, and then you do a treble into the last 3 stitches. So that'll be 1, 2, and the third one is that top of that 3 chain, and then you're fastening off like that, and then you're turning, and then you're joining the grass coloured one, and you're joining with a 3 chain, and then you're going to do a treble into each of the next 2 trebles. So that will be 1, 2, and then you're going to do an extended, you're going to work 1 extended 3 treble cluster into 2 rows below. So that will be into this one down here. So you go all the way down there, which is above that one there, and then you'll do 1, 2, 3 trebles, and you've got 4 loops on there, and you'll pull it through 3 and then through the next 2. Then you'll miss 2 stitches, and you'll do a shell in the next one chain space. So that's one treble, two treble, one chain, and two treble, all in the same one chain space, like that. And then you'll do another cluster into there. And another shell into here. One chain, two more trebles. And you carry on until you get to the last chain space. And I'll see you at the end of row 6. Right, so when you get to the end of row 6, you do 4 trebles in the last 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one goes into the top of the 3 chain. And get it in there, a bit fiddly, like that. And then you turn and we start row 7. Right, at the end of row 6, we turn and we continue using the green, and we're doing 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you're doing a treble into the next 3 stitches. So that's that one there, because this one counts as a stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Then you're missing 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3. And then into this one chain space, you are doing the shell, which is 2 trebles, 1, 2, 1 chain, and 2 more trebles, all in the same one chain space, like that. And then you'll miss the next 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which brings you to the next one chain space, and you do another shell pattern of 2 trebles, 1 chain, and 2 trebles, all into the same one chain space, like that. And you repeat that all the way along, missing 5 and doing your shell in the one chain space above the previous shell, all the way along to the end. And I'll see you at the end of round 7. Right, so at the end of round 7, you've done your last shell in the previous shell. Then you miss 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, and then in the last 3 stitches you do a treble. So that's 1 treble in there, 1 treble in there, and 1 treble in the top of the 3 chain. And then you turn, and then we're starting row 8. And row 8 is 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. You're doing a treble into the next 2 trebles. That's 1, 2. Then you're going to miss 2 stitches, and then you're going to do your shell in here, and that is 2 trebles, 1 chain and 2 trebles, all in the same 1 chain space. And then you're going to miss 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to repeat, and you're going to carry on doing that all the way along. So another shell, another 2 trebles, and there we are. So you'll miss 4 stitches and you'll do another one in that 1 chain space, and you'll do that all the way along, and I'll see you at the end of row 8. Right, at the end of row 8 you've done your last shell, and then you miss 2 stitches, that's 1, 2, and then you're doing a treble into the next 4 stitches. So that's 2, 3, and the 4th one is in the top of the 3 chain, 4, and then you're fastening off. If I can find my scissors, and we're turning and we're joining the purple. Right, so we join the purple at the end here, and we're doing a 3 chain, and we're doing a treble into the next 3 trebles. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work an extended 3 treble cluster into the space 2 rows below, so like we've done before here and here. So you're going to do a 3 treble cluster, so you're going to be going into this space here. That's 1, 2, 3, and you pull it through 3 loops and then through 2. Then you miss 2 stitches, and this time, instead of, whereas in the past we then do our shell, we're not doing our shell, we are doing 4 double crochets into the next 1 chain space, so 4 double crochets. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Different. And then we're going to miss the next 2 stitches, and we're going to do the same. We're going to do an extended 3 treble cluster, so we're going down there, and we're doing 1, 2, 3, pull for the first 3 and then pull the 2, and then 4 double crochets in this 1 chain space. That's 2, 3, 4, and it should look like that. And you continue all the way along. So then you will do your extended 3 treble cluster in here, and then you will do your 4 double crochets in here, extended 3 treble cluster, 4 double crochets, and you'll do that all the way along, and I'll see you at the end of row 9. Right, so when you get to the end of row 9 and you've done your last 4 double crochets, you then do your final extended 3 treble cluster in that space in the previous rows. 3, pull through 3, pull through 2, and then you're doing 3 trebles in the last 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, and 1 in here. I've already cut this because I didn't press play on the filming. So, and that's your last treble. And then you're fastening off. And that is the end of your Magic Cat panel. And you need to do 2 of those. And then we'll be joining them onto the spooky squares. So 2 of these, and you should have done 2 of these where you actually attached it to the squares. There should be a left one and a right one. So one that's got them on this side, and then this other one, which I've partly done, which will be on this side. So I'm going to finish off here now, let you get on and do your panels, and then we'll meet up for part 2 where we'll attach these and we'll put the faces on the pumpkin and stuff, and we'll do the cat and the bat. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit for part 2.